Hello everyone, welcome back to the Gospel of John in 5 minutes, day 24. Today we're reading chapter 11, verses 28 through 57. So grab your Bible and read along with us.
When she had said this, she went and called her sister Mary, saying quietly, "The teacher is here and is calling for you." And when she heard it, she rose quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet come to the village, but was still there in the place where Mary had met him, or where Martha had met him. When the Jews who were with her in the house, consoling her, saw Mary rise quickly and go out, they followed her, supposing that she was going to weep at the tomb. Then Mary, when she came where Jesus was and saw him, fell at his feet, saying to him, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. And he said, "Where have you laid him?" They said to him, "Lord, come and see." Jesus wept. So the Jews said, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Then Jesus, deeply moved again, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Martha and the sister of the dead man said to him, "Lord, by this time there will be an odor, for he has been dead 4 days." Jesus said to her, "Did I not tell you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I know that you always hear me, but I have said this on account of the people standing by, that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, he cried with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, his hands and feet bound with bandages, and his face wrapped with a cloth. Jesus said to them, "Unbind him and let him go." Many of the Jews, therefore, who had come with Mary and had seen what he did, believed in him. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done. So the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered the council and said, "What are we to do? For this man performs many signs. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and destroy both our holy place and our nation." But one of them, Caiaphas, who was the high priest that year, said to them, "You know nothing at all. You do not understand that it is expedient for you that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation should not perish." He did not say this of his own accord, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for the nation, and not for the nation only, but to gather into one the children of God who are scattered abroad. So from that day on they took the counsel about how to put him to death. Jesus therefore no longer went about openly among the Jews, but went from there to the country near the wilderness, to a town called Ephraim, and there he stayed with his disciples. Now the Passover of the Jews was at hand, and many went up from the country to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. They were looking for Jesus and saying to one another as they stood in the temple, "What do you think? That he will not come to the feast?" Now the chief priests and the Pharisees had given orders that if anyone knew where he was, he should let them know so that they might arrest him.
Okay, very good everyone. So I want to point out just a couple of things here about this section of chapter 11. First of all, the words of Caiaphas. Caiaphas was the high priest at the time of Jesus' crucifixion, and he uttered this very true prophecy. "You know nothing at all. You do not understand that it is expedient for you that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation should not perish." And then John, right in the gospel, goes on to say, "Caiaphas did not say this of his own accord, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for the nation." Now, isn't that interesting? John is noting here that Caiaphas, despite being a wicked high priest, because of his authority as high priest, God uttered a prophecy through him, even if Caiaphas didn't really grasp what he was saying. It's one of those times in the New Testament we see glimpses of the authority of the church. that even in our Catholic Church, even amongst sinful leaders and hypocrites and false teachers or bad teachers, even then God still endows them with a certain amount of authority, and he can use them despite that. So we see a little glimpse of that here. Now I just want to mention one last thing about this raising of Lazarus. One of the themes of the Gospel of John is there's a series of sevens that comes up over and over again. There's 7 feasts mentioned in the Gospel of John. There's 7 I am sayings in the Gospel of John. Jesus says, I am the life, I am the shepherd, I am the way, etc., etc. There's 7 of them. There's also 7 signs in the Gospel of John. Now this one that we just heard was the 6th sign. And what's the 7th sign going to be? The ultimate and most significant sign, Jesus' own resurrection from the dead. And all of the signs leading up to that, in a certain sense, prefigure that ultimate sign, culminating with this raising of Lazarus from the dead as the final foreshadowing of Jesus' own resurrection. So join us again tomorrow as we move into day 25 of the Gospel of John in 5 minutes, and we'll begin chapter 12.